near Illyrio City is really, really bad. But
Yes, Marcel is horrible. Especially getting to Coco is gonna take so much time. So much time.
I really feel like
What was that
Pyramids
sound?
is the thing here. Whoever gets it's at a massive advantage.
Well, Pyramids is always like a massive advantage in duels. It's like so
Well, even
huge
more so
on
on
the
this map.
attack, especially.
Look at all the rough
Yeah,
terrain. It's gonna take so long to get
yeah,
those roads going.
exactly. Yeah, roads one turn. That's huge. Iron discovered for Mr. Filthy. Tony is not having the. Ah, okay, he sees the iron a long time ago.
Culture versus 7 culture turn.
Yep, 11
Ugh.
versus 7. A slight discrepancy, but that's Monuments. Like, Monuments is a huge investment for the late game, basically. It's always have been. And now, I gotta say, those cities, like Troyes and Tours, if he can plant more cities, like to the north, there get the silver, of course, and not gonna snatch the settler. If Filthy's not gonna snatch the settler, but there's no units there. I'm like, Filthy's like keeping the borders up in here, expanding. So if he can like get this setup, this is gonna be a beautiful defensive spot for Tony in here, and he likes to play defensive. He excels at defensive gameplay. Basically, that's Tony.
You can still plant for the silver, which is near Filthy. You can plant on the
Mm,
silver. Yeah,
I don't like that spot. I think if he knows and he knows there's the silver in the back,
4 hammers.
we on a river, yeah. So it's a little bit better to plant the silver in the back instead of that. You're talking about that snowy silver,
Yeah,
right?
Tony doesn't have silver, right? That's no other silvers. Or is there more
Yes,
silver on the
there
right
is in the
side?
back.
Oh,
In the back,
okay, never mind. Never mind.
on the river as well. And he knows about it because he's got his scouting very nicely done, Mr. Tony.
3 turns on that. Could grow it to pop
Leon
4.
Troop up. Which his capital?
The King Solomon's Mine City and work a lumber mill plus the bison tile. And King
Yeah,
Solomon's
that's
Mine.
true.
He'll eventually get it there.
Yeah, that Leon city is really swell. I gotta admit that. Much better than his capital right now. Though I kind of like this division. Well, theoretically, I like this division. He's not like Tony's used his capital to make out settlers, so he had them faster. That's true, but then at the same point, like Filthy's not growing his capital and getting the settlers at a reasonable speed, and his King Solomon's mine is trying to grow. So basically, like Lyon is the same pop as Tony's capital right now. Okay, I do not understand that plant on Filthy
I don't
side.
either.
Ruin.
Coco's fine. They're both just as defensible, except you get the Coco online right away. Yeah, you make use of a Tundra tile, but that's we're not playing free for all. I mean, how many
Very
pop are you
strange.
really gonna get there? Work the Coco, work the 2 hills. What's the difference? You're planted on the Coco, you work the deer. Maybe because one of the hills is not like
Chops. Maybe he wants the chop from the citrus. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I see why you planted it there. It's got the second deer. I can't see it because the chat box was blocking. But it gets the
Ah,
second
okay.
deer, and one of the hill tiles
All
where the
right.
archer's
All
currently
right.
standing
All right.
can like put a mine without it being stood on when war comes to that city, if it does come to that city.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. 30 hammers. Ah, too fast there on the demographics.
He's going for the
But
Snuzzle.
seems like Filthy is leading in hammers right now, and has got one extra city. 32-28. All right, 2 hammers advantage. Tony's leading with army. GNP, surprisingly. Yeah, Filthy's.
Planting on those luxuries.
No. Yeah, but Filthy's. I'm like, he at least had some tech. I'm like, Tony, no science this turn. Like, seriously, turn 33, no science. Oh, wow. A scout just sneaked in there. Seen the settler and
Science.
scooted away.
No science.
Yeah,
That's,
Tony's got.
oh man.
Yes. Yeah, no science. That's quite surprising.
That's
Oh,
bad.
okay, he's actually planting that silver spot. I'm like, yeah, that silver spot is super crazy. Theoretically, it blocks off all the passage from Filthy's units in the north. So as I said, like, the mid defensive spot is very good. If he can defend, get the religion, and he should be getting the religion, then he's like good to go. Maybe just good to go. But still, if he could get the second lure, that would be like super crazy.
If he actually does get a religion and starts getting church property, I think
Oh,
it's
there's a
gonna
message
lose.
from Lek trying to say something. Let's see, Lek.
Stonehenge.
Filthy going there makes a spot in the middle. All right. The point from Lek.
What point?
Why Filthy went there. He's answered the question why he did not get the Cocoa City, but what mid are you talking about?
It
One,
also
two,
blocks off the
three.
right side too. Helps block it off better.
1, 2, 3. Well, okay, the Cocoa City probably would not block. 1, 2. Okay, I do. And damn it! As soon as I look at Filthy's screen, it resinks. Damn it, Filthy screen. And now one darn turn ahead. Right, gotta stop Filthy. At which turn you are right now? 44?
44, 36 seconds in.
Alright, so you're 30 seconds ahead. Okay, I need to stop.
The 2 gold from each
Because
city
now I
is going to
got-
be so massive. I think Filthy needs to do something soon.
Yep.
Not getting Allura
Like,
is
I think-
game deciding.
I think Tony is really trying to aim right now for the late game. He has no rush. He can play defense, and like the south and the north cities are untakeable basically, without like a huge advantage or a general. So what he needs to do is he needs to worry about the mid, and those 2 spots are really good for defense. So if he can survive until the religion's gonna kick in,
Rating.
he's good to go. Oh, and he
Horseback
sneaks a scout
riding.
in the north right now.
There's not enough horses on the map, maybe to capture. Wouldn't it just be better to have enough spearmen? I'm trying to rely on the horseman capture.
Yeah, I understand, Lek, about which hill you're talking about. You're talking about this hill that Filthy wants to free up the hill between the stone and the sheep for the plant. Then again, it's so far away from truffles. That's just amazing. Okay, 4 seconds and I'm gonna sync the videos and BAM! Video synced finally. Can we have a quick look at Tony's minimap? Yes, Tony sees almost all the map. Almost all the map. That's Tony. He doesn't see the King Solomon city. But except that, he sees everything. And Filthy is like seeing a glimpse of one of Tony's cities, basically. So he has no knowledge. And knowledge on this map script is just so huge with scouting. It's huge. Pyramids.
I
only
see
on.
this going
Yeah,
to
that's true.
crossbows, but I don't see Filthy ever getting to crossbows because the church property gold is going to carry Tony this game.
Yeah, Tony Science. Well, the little different is that Filthy has chariots, okay, but there's only 4
Doesn't
horses
matter.
on the map. Yeah, there's
It's
only
not
4
enough.
horses on the map. So actually, Tony's gonna get eventually to that too, but it seems like we're gonna see a lot of archer on archer combat. It's gonna be like archers and archers and archers, quite fun. But that's true. Filthy's probably never gonna get Uluru. There's so many tiles that Marsil wants to get before it's gonna grow to Uluru. I would love to see culture expansion on that Marsil city though. Can we get there, Filthy? Can we get there? Where's Marsil? Governor wants to go. Next turn.
I think Tony's trying to have his wares expand to the truffles.
Tony wants his borders. He's chopping this down. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe eventually.
It could go there. Yeah. It could go there. I don't want to miss Orleans. Oh my goodness, and actually Tony's making Stonehenge. Oh wow. Okay. Definitely religion time. Okay, if Tony can defend any early push from Filthy, and Filthy is not looking like he's trying to get an early push, yeah, Chariot's not gonna do too much there, and Tony's actually making troops, it's quite surprising, while Filthy's making monuments, pyramids, and a worker, then religion will eventually kick in. And I'm like, seriously, the religion's gonna eventually kick in. And Filthy's gonna be in a lot of trouble later on. A lot of
It's gonna
trouble.
do almost an entire empire worth of science. It's gonna give you like 40
Yeah.
gold. Okay, maybe not that much, but it's gonna give me like 20, 30 gold per turn.
Switch the views because Tony's on the other side of the map. Okay, I know what you guys mean. Right, we can possibly do that. Okay, gonna check the screen, switch the screens around then. Fine.
Oh, Filthy got greedy there. He's trying to last second
What did
archer
he just
shoot.
try to do?
He could have shot the
Okay.
spearman. It wouldn't make that much of a difference, but problem with this is I don't think Filthy's making enough economy. He's not making enough economy buildings.
Well, there's not too much economy buildings at this stage of the game.
Yeah, there's not very many circuses actually. Yeah, one circus was building pyramids. Why Stonehenge? Why not pyramids and then build Stonehenge?
You mean Tony? Well, he probably saw that Filthy's actually making
No.
for pyramids.
No,
No, he didn't.
it doesn't matter.
That's true. Actually, yeah.
He started it sooner.
Well, but I gotta say one thing though. Look at this. Tony's gonna have the religion, and he just wants extra fate. I'm like the fate right now. Stonehenge is gonna push his fate to +11, and +11 gives you a pagoda in 13 turns, right? Or even less actually, in 12 turns.
Yeah, but it denies pyramids for one, and it gives you the engineer point, and then you get Stonehenge gives you another, or get Temple of Artemis give you another engineer point, and you can engineer Machu Picchu.
I think Machu Picchu. I don't think this game's not gonna go to Machu Picchu with this
yes,
gold,
it will.
probably.
Yes, it will.
I doubt it.
Absolutely.
I doubt it.
Why won't it?
What I mean,
It's not gonna.
well,
be...
what I mean actually is like Filthy is still building up troops, right? And you gotta understand Tony. Tony knows couple of things basically, and going for 2 wonders is too greedy. And between pyramids and Stonehenge, he wants Stonehenge because he wants to focus on religion and get that religion to kick in, and then he's golden. So he don't wants to risk. Yes, that's too greedy right now. Pyramids into Stonehenge.
Well, you don't have to build it right away, but you can at least secure pyramids.
No, I think he prioritizes Stonehenge instead of pyramids in this game.
Well, that's probably because
so
he's
much
not
more
going to
important
build
for him.
roads to all of his cities, but
He don't want that. He knows that Filthy needs to attack him, and basically Filthy needs to attack Tony right now. So even Filthy needs to build the roads then to the front line. So Tony's just gonna use the roads later on that Filthy's made. Most probably, I would imagine that's happy like that. I don't imagine Tony's actually like that far ahead and thinks about it this way. But I think he prioritizes Stonehenge and religion in this game much more than he prioritizes pyramids. Chariot, those are really lovely defensive spots though. Dice cities also almost prevents the flank there. Happiness 0 Tony's side, and happiness -4 on Filthy. But seems like Filthy's gonna get to construction.
This empire really needs Colosseums, so you can plant another city between Marseille and his other southwestern cities. Actually, is there even room? Dude, that city just ruins everything. To be able to afford the roads, though, you gotta grow the cities a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Filthy's got one huge advantage though, construction and that gold right now. If he can work on that, oh, now I'm getting a sync on. Okay, Filthy, all right, because that changed around now right now for me, right? And we're where? Who do I need to stop a little bit? Filthy needs to get stopped. 57
You see where that profit's going? It's going to the middle of the map.
Yes, yes, and it's super smart because Filthy's like sitting on 1,000,000 of 1-pop cities right now, which means the religion's gonna be instantly all over the map. It's very smart move to go to the front in this situation. Look at this. There's gonna be 2 cities in the back, like 3 cities instantly converted, and like all the Filthy cities gonna be converted right away. And what's beautiful about this Filthy has no Fate Wonder right now. He's not getting Uluru anytime soon. He would need to use a general most probably for it, or like tons of gold, which means
It's not
he
possible.
cannot use. Yeah, he cannot use
A shrine.
Tony's religion. Yeah, and I imagine Tony's gonna get pagodas because he knows that Filthy would need to like get shrines and temples, which is not optimal at all. So it's a brilliant move. I gotta say that's a very good move here. Oh, I did not miss the sync this time. Perfect. Okay. Okay, Tony's is actually having minus 11 gold. The wheel, maybe he's gonna get the wheel eventually. They have exactly the same science. Though Tony's gold income is a little bit higher though. And he's still at 0 happy right now. Switching to hammer focus. Okay, monument's gonna pop up next turn though. I don't like that idea. And Filthy's having +1 culture right now actually.
I feel like
Stonehenge gonna be huge. Yeah? What do you feel? Tell us, Mr. Arvius.
I feel like the Luru settlement, which is mainly a byproduct of settling Solomon's mines first, is going to define the entire game. But also that combined with the mistake of not actually planting immediately when you know you want to plant somewhere.
Yeah.
Filthy not getting Alluro is going to cost him the game.
Well, we shall see. It's not over yet. And I don't believe that Filthy is a quitter.
But isn't it over? Because Filthy's going to be at 0 gold per turn and he's never going to recover from it. It's impossible.
Well, he can show up better fighting skills. And he can kill Tony.
Well, the hammers are going to be even, and Tony's eventually going to get crossbows, and
Yes.
Filthy's never going to get a crossbow.
Yes, but it's still like this is like the game where a unit still is built in like 4 or 5 turns, right? So if one player is like, okay, you've got the same hammers, but if one player actually makes a mistake and doesn't follow up with the army, and for now you look at the cities, and basically Tony's cities, like 3 cities are not building units, and on Filthy sides like 2 cities are not. Okay, fine. Alright, never mind. So not this turn yet. But anyways, if you can sneak in units while your opponent is building some different stuff like buildings, then you can still have that advantage eventually, right? With army. For now, Tony has the advantage, but that's just because he's got a spearman healed up, which cost a lot. And that's about it. So we shall see. I still have faith in Filthy. This game, if Filthy cannot break Tony until turn 80, then the game is over. But
I think it's
Filthy
already
still
over
has a
until I
chance.
see otherwise.
Sentenced before the Jerry. You need to provide proof, Mr. Arvius.
Well, I just gave proof. I gave him my thought
Okay,
process.
proof.
Why?
Filthy won the previous game because of better. Well, actually, Filthy. Well, it's kind of hard to judge the previous game where Filthy just crushed Tony because I kind of like assigned it to better fighting skills or just poor decision making on Tony's side. I really cannot assess that. No, it's not an energy drink. Crypto advertisement or whatever it is called. You know what's that? Okay? So, if you're a part of the Coca-Cola company, give me a shout. I can, accept any sponsors. Read one line chat. Yes. Well, I'm trying to focus on game. It's really hard. It's really is gold fate banned in duels? 100 gold per city conversion is banned, but 2 gold per city and plus 1 gold per. It's beer in a Coca-Cola can. Yes, that's true. And plus 1 gold per 4 followers is not banned. Oh yeah. Okay, so we've got the. What did he actually pick? Because I was following the chat because people just said that I'm not following the chat, and now I missed what's on the religion.
I
Come
have
on.
no idea. I took a peek at the chat. Apparently, I'm
Damn
too
it!
pessimistic.
Damn it! Well, I imagine he'd pick 2 gold because he's making
Smart
+5
road.
signs right now. So he's finally gonna get the wheel. Though Filthy is having a chance actually to pick off Archer there. Unless he's gonna get too greedy and Tony's actually gonna move that Spearman there. Last second he's gonna do it. Yep, nope. Too slow, boy. I imagine he wanted to move last second, but that didn't work out that well. Okay, Core just said 2 gold and Pagoda. So as we predicted basically, Mr. Arvius. Pagodas and +2 gold. So he's now gonna make a pagoda every 13 turns. Religion is gonna spread like crazy very, very fast. And with pagodas, he can like economically start crushing Filthy, and Filthy looks like it's never gonna have construction. So I'm leaning towards Arvius' opinion actually right now, and Arvius probably is right. If Filthy's not gonna try to make something happen, and it doesn't seem so because still granaries, monuments, pyramids, workers. So it's gonna be over quite well, maybe not quickly because still.
It won't be quickly, but he's trying to out.
Yes.
I mean, we have such an advantage
Out
that we can
echo,
see what's
yeah.
going on, but
Yeah.
he's trying to out SimCity a position that he can't really out SimCity, but really just
Yes.
the fact that he doesn't have a religion and the church property is going to go everywhere should be a pretty large indicator that things will not go well if he tries. Like, they're not at all in his favor unless in the later parts of the game.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Doesn't mean you lose, but it's definitely a massive, massive disadvantage.
Nah, it's huge. It's a huge disadvantage. And Tony's finally gonna get to the wheel.
I
Yeah.
I don't see him ever gaining happiness. He can get to -2 with a circus in his one possible circus city, but okay,
Yes.
meritocracy. Never mind.
Well,
about
he
that.
still needs the road connections. And meritocracy is gonna be on Tony's too, so
Stoneworks.
there's just equal stuff, just a tiny little bit. And Tony's already leading with hammers. And the first pagoda is gonna pop in 7 turns. Well, 7? No, actually, yes, 7, maybe 6? Nah, 7 turns, okay. So this +2 extra happiness, but no signs again on Tony's side. 3 spearmen trying to do something at the south of Marseille.
So this.
Another spearman going. Capital is gonna grow finally to population 4, or he's actually
he's
keeping the
deleting
season of void
workers.
growth. Who's deleting workers?
Tony, he really wants his roads.
Yeah, he really wants his growth, but it's still not gonna fix that. He would need to delete 1 more. Because, like the science, yeah, he knows that. He learned that the hard way previously. He's gonna probably delete the spearman. Yeah, okay, now he's gonna get to the roads. Because basically the science is counted after the gold each turn, from my experience. So even if you're like have -11 and you're still -11, you're losing the gold first, and then you still lose 11 science. Yeah, horrible, huh?
That's so weird. It's weird how that works.
Very weird, but it seems like that works like that. So he's gonna finally get the wheel, but they're gonna be on the same tech level basically. Yeah, but that's exactly 9-9, Jan. Okay, my first comment basically on this game was like Filthy starting location. His units started south of his capital, so he instantly had a huge vision of the map, right? A lot of land discovered instantly with those 2 first moves. And what I was saying to Arby is like, look at that. I mean, like, this map, okay, it's mirror, but like that position of the maps, the units that they always start in south of your capital, just makes the first move so damn important. Am I saying, okay, Tony's at disadvantage, and then Tony moves his units, and boom, King Solomon's Mine. Okay, so that's the difference. I'm not entirely sure if that King Solomon's Mine is that huge of a deal, because if Filthy would went for Uluru first, this game would be a little bit more even. I'm not entirely sure that Tony could block off that spot quite fast, but Filthy decided to go for King Solomon's Mine in some sort. I would imagine, you know how Filthy is when he gets salty, right? So his brain turns off for a minute, and he makes a bad call. And I think going for King Solomon's Mine actually was a little bit of a mistake right now. He should have just went with that first settler straight to Uluru, secure the Uluru, and then go to King Solomon's Mine. Alright, divide the middle of the map so each player has Uluru. Because now he's at a huge disadvantage, a really huge disadvantage.
I mean, I commented saying that I would probably go for Allure. That's probably the smart play, but it's hard to know, especially when you don't have enough units running around. And you'd think that with the Solomon's Mine advantage, that Tony would have more units. Would it even been possible to get to Allure first? Because you remember how Tony had 2 scouts and the warrior rather close up near Filthy. And I think Tony was actually going to consider blocking him from getting to Alluru, but instead
Yeah,
Filthy
that's a
did go
possibility,
to
yeah.
Solomon's Mines. I think Solomon's Mines was the safer play, but if given the choice, yeah, I probably go for Alluru. But like Solomon's Mines is great to have right away. It's the
Yeah,
free
that's
settler is
true.
probably a
That's
difference
true.
of what, six turns ish. So you lose the production, but you secure the Alluru, and you potentially get the chance to get church property. But either
Yeah,
which way, Tony
exactly.
gets church property first, or I'm sorry, Az gets Alluru first. I think it really just comes down to the settlement of like not settling Alluru over there. That's really going to be a problem. But that doesn't mean that it's also a question of who gets first religion, who gets luckier on actually getting their
RNG,
profit.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Matas, this is a mirror map, 2 lures in the mid of the map. You should have seen the previous map with Filthy not discovering a single wonder in his capital, and Tony's actually position well of his units allow him to discover Uluru in his cap and Great Barrier Reef for the second city, or the other way around, basically.
I thought his scout had a site promotion.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think he stepped on the forest while he was moving. And Filthy just went chyba straight west or something like that. I don't remember that exact. Well, I do have that recorded, so we can check out it later on. Uh-oh! Do you see that worker? You don't see that worker
Uh,
yet. It's juicy and tempting. It's juicy and tempting. A wounded worker.
oh,
Filthy
I
sees
see.
that warrior, but he's not afraid. I'm like, okay, get in here, get that worker, no
Bait.
problem. I'll just kill you. Yeah, bait. I'll just kill you. Tony's not gonna fall for that, most probably.
Minus.
And he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to fall for that at all.
Oh.